Hey, look what we have found. A big sound in a small town. Far away from the bright lights. They're making music every night. Discover what is all around. A big sound. A big sound. In a small town. Big sound, small town. A really big sound. Big sound, small town.
You're listening to Big Sound, Small Town with Sandy Carlton.
Hi, and welcome to Big Sound, Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton, and this is a podcast about the lives and stories of the musicians, writers, artists, and their associates that have their roots in the small towns and communities across America. If you like what you hear, tell somebody. Enjoy.
All right. My name's Shane Pruitt. I'm the youngest child of David and Ann Pruitt. Born in Spartanburg, South Carolina in 1977. And I've been playing music since I was about 9 years old.
Well, that's good. Now, I'm glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's I'll introduce you maybe as one of the most in demand musicians in the upstate of South Carolina.
Well, I've been doing it a long time. I started playing in bars when I was 15, and it's kind of all I know. And I guess by other people's standards, I do it pretty well.
How would you describe yourself as a musician?
I was raised on bluegrass and Southern gospel in my daddy's family, and then about the age of 11, I heard Albert King, and then I was good to go after that.
I mean, it's not much of a stretch between the two, but Albert King just jumps it off the map.
Yeah, it really. I mean, there's really not that much difference in my opinion. The thing that it got was, though, it was just livelier. It was just that electric thing. He hit a note, man. He played the same 5 notes, but man, he would just kill every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about the attack than it is the actual note. So
tone, taste, and timing.
I agree. That's the
3 T's.
Yes, it is. Would you consider yourself primarily a guitarist?
Yeah, that was my main instrument. I can play a bunch of different instruments just from growing up around them. I play some drums. Honestly, if I had it to do over, I would have been a drummer.
Yeah,
I truly would have. I've been dancing since I was in the diaper, and I feel natural rhythm. But if I had it to do over, I probably would play drums. Yeah, I really feel like I would have.
If I could have got in like the school band, I might have played the drums too.
But I always make the joke. I always say, and people say they either get it and laugh, or they get kind of like, oh, you know. I say, there just happen to be a 5-string guitar laying in the corner.
Yeah. No, it's like I always tell people, really, that drummers, they're just the people they let musicians. Let them hang around.
Sure, right. Yeah. But I play a little mandolin too. I play some lap dulcimer. So like I said, I grew up in the bluegrass element when I was a kid. Play a little banjo, a little piano.
Sing a lot too, don't you?
Man, honestly, singing is one of those things I'm trying to get away from. I've never been natural singing was hard for me. Music was not hard.
But I've seen you singing a lot.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm trying to get away from it because there's so many other guys that are out there that can really sing, and I did it out of necessity.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've done, and it's worked.
Yeah,
but I do understand that feeling because I've been lucky to play with some really fine vocalists, and people that see me sing, they think that's kind of what we do, but. It's hard when you've worked with other people and you have to feel good about your own.
Absolutely, you just kind of like I see them coming down the road, and I just kind of start tailing off. Yeah, just getting quiet,
Yeah. So, all right, tell me about Turtle Wax.
The first royalty check I ever got was I had enough money in there to buy some Turtle Wax car wax, and I put it on my 1972 Chevelle.
Oh, that's cool, man.
That's just my sense of humor, man.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Pretty out.
You're one of the few people that's ever told me what they did with the royalty check. So, you're the only person. So the first one.
And I still had to put in about another $2 on top of
it. Yeah. So, all right. You remember the first real paying music job you ever got?
Yeah, I was 15, and there used to be these things around Spartanburg, especially like what they call the private clubs, usually out in the county.
Yeah.
And my brother, he worked a lot of these places when I was a kid because I'm the youngest of 4, and they're all a good bit older than me, and so they would do these battle of the bands, and I would go sit in and play a lot, and and me being the whiz kid, 14, 15-year-old whippersnapper, but my big brother's in there that works in these places, so they allowed me to come in. Once they got to know me, they saw that I wasn't trying to steal drinks or trying to do something. So
I play music.
I was there to play. I was just there to pick,
Yeah.
And so I remember some summers, man, I would rack up This is I was 15 years old. I'd go make the rounds on a Sunday night and go play these places in the county, and I'd make $250.
Yeah, which at that age was $1 million.
I know, absolutely.
I mean, I agree, because you're young. To you, that is $1 million.
Yes, absolutely.
And every reason to continue in music.
I remember bagging groceries at the same time and working 30 hours a week and making $80. I'm going, what in the world am I doing?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, people. That's a strange analogy. I'm glad you brought that up too, because people do not realize sometimes that there's a lot of money to be made without being a millionaire in money.
Absolutely.
In the music business.
Well, we're being in the music industry or whatever. It's about the relationships that you build. And it's about the experiences that you have that you would not get otherwise if you were doing the quote unquote status quo thing,
No, you wouldn't. That's musicians generally tend to gravitate towards musicians too,
or just other artists.
Other artists, yeah, other artists too.
Yeah.
That works too. I mean, yeah, which they do. I mean, they feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we see the world in a different set of eyes.
Yeah.
If true good musicians and other artists are really worth their salt, in my opinion, they're true empaths. They know how to take on energy and pass the energy around.
Well, anybody that ever, I haven't known very many, but if you're in any form of the music business, for anything but the music, you're going to be badly disappointed.
You're going to be out before you're in.
Yeah, you are. And it's going to make you miserable instead of, I mean, nobody likes to go leave early and have to sit up equipment, but that's what you really charge them to do, sit up equipment and tear it down.
I always say I'm just a glorified furniture mover that gets paid to play music.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've always thought that I was a beer salesman.
That too, and that's at the top of the heat too.
I mean, how you get to keep working.
That's right. Because look at all the big tours. I mean, it's always back in the now it's changed, but
everything's changed.
Yes, but Crown Royal, Jack Daniels, they were all sponsoring these huge tours for these huge bands.
Yeah. Are you getting to work these days?
Man, it's coming back around back home. Like I said. I did a lot of social distancing shows. There was about 3 months there I didn't work hardly at all. And,
I saw you do some live streaming from the house and stuff.
Yeah, the beginning of that was really good. I did really well the month of April. I didn't have any work at all. And then it's like everything else, it starts tailing off. You can't depend on that.
Well, it tails off because you can't give to everybody, and everybody's out there doing it.
That's right. I know. And I haven't done one in about 6 weeks. I was kind of against all that stuff, honestly, personally, because it made me, before this stuff happened, it made me feel like, you're just kind of a narcissist a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that you feel like you got to play so bad that you got to put it. I do understand that too.
But then, when COVID happened, it's like, man, I got to make a living.
Exactly. That changes. It's a whole different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. I mean, and it's gotten better too. When we all started first doing that live streaming stuff, it stunk, man. If your Wi-Fi wasn't good,
I know. I mean, there's nothing worse when you feel. That's why I made the statement at a gig here the other week. I was like, man, it was really strange because you'd be up there just playing your ass off, and then you get done and you look around the room and you're just like, it's just us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, what do you do?
Oh yeah. Of course, now one of the parts I was kind of used to with that is, you played a song, you've killed it somewhere, and you get through and you get.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't a whole lot different than that.
No, but it was just different.
It was different though. I agree. Well, and it was like, well, this is what I do. This is what I do for fun in the kitchen. I don't know that it really.
Sure.
I don't know if I should be charging people for this or not.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It makes you feel a little guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess people during this time pretty hungry for entertainment.
They say they are, but I keep hearing it.
Yeah. Make a believer out of me, somebody.
Right, show up.
Yeah, Well, I also saw that the likes of Martin, Gibson, Fender have sold more instruments than they've ever sold during this time.
Yeah, people have the time now to do a project they've always wanted to do.
Yeah, and people can learn. I mean, they're stuck, and as you well know, it takes a long time really to learn to play. You can learn to play a musical instrument at a pretty enjoyable level, but to play it well, it takes a lot of work.
I think there, in order to really, this is the wrong word because I don't think there's a master of anything, not on this planet at least. But to really,
excel.
Yeah, you start as a child because you're a sponge then, and you're able to retain things at a quicker rate than you do when you get a little older.
Oh yeah, these places that have programs that somebody was telling me about. Pickens has a big group of young pickers, and it's because they have something called Young American Musicians or something out of Pickens, and they start them really, really young.
I have to look into that.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
There's these guys, Jacktown Ramblers from Morganton. They have a thing there where they start musicians out really early like that.
And that's the thing about what's always been so great about the Southern scene is that's always gone on, whether it be under a label or not.
True. Yeah. Here it's big. A lot of people talk about being under the porch.
Yeah.
While the adults played on top, then they were always happy when they got their chance to come up on and play up on top.
That's right. Absolutely right.
So, I don't know how many kids get that anymore.
No, I'm with you. We were talking earlier. That's the way I was raised to play. And I feel very fortunate in that manner because, like I said, my dad was the youngest of 8 kids, and I'm the youngest of 4. So my grandparents on my dad's side were born in 1899.
Wow.
And so I grew up in that. All my uncles, my dad, and that kind of picking, on the porch, and then I'm tired of playing this one. Hand me that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Then,
oh yeah. Yeah, that's people don't get to do that too much anymore.
That's the best education I've ever gotten.
It's the best education I ever got too.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole foundation of me being a musician was sitting on my grandparents' porch, learning gospel songs.
That's it. Same. And then there would always be one in the bunch that would make sure he'd lock in with you to watch his hands,
right.
And he'd bring you along. The rest of them is just having a ball, but he's the one. And they were all good about doing that at times.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and it takes somebody like that to kind of mentor you along.
Absolutely. Keep up.
And it goes that way all the way too. It goes that way as you get older. Even. I've had a lot of people show me a lot of stuff over the years,
Sure.
Of course, I was that kid that would say, how'd you do that?
Sure.
Some people won't,
No, some people, but I found the ones who are the ones who are the best ones in the bunch are always the ones that take the time
That's
to show.
True, yeah, they are. Well, that's because they feel no ego. They know how good they are.
They let their picking do the talking.
Yeah, they do. And, it's... That's just a great way to learn. And you grew up in an area that's full of fine musicians.
Man, I tell you, it's pretty scary to think about per capita. I mean, we can sit here and name for an hour all the people who've been from Spartanburg and went on and done major things.
Sure.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this area as well up here in Shelby. I mean, this whole region is stocked full of.
And the thing is,
talent.
Of the successful ones, but there's other ones that are there that are just as good.
Absolutely. They just either they didn't want to chase it or they didn't have the opportunity to chase it.
That's good. That's actually you're the first person that has nailed that down for me.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
It does.
Really, whether you either want to chase it or just never have the opportunity to.
Yep.
For whatever. I mean, sometimes you wind up with kids.
Sure.
And you're a kid yourself, and you can't go.
Yep.
So you wind up doing it here.
Yep.
It's got nothing to do with talent.
It doesn't have to do. It has not a thing to do with talent. Because most people who are out here, put up on a pedestal. Well, these days, I mean, back in the day you had to have talent, but these days, as long as you look good.
Oh, that's what it's about. I mean. Oh yeah, I've known some fine, ugly musicians.
Right. Usually the uglier the better for me. They don't pick.
Listen. I'm going to step on some toes here, but I did some jobs with the Kentucky Headhunters.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't be uglier. I mean, that's an ugly group. But
I got to meet Greg a few times. Guitar Mark, the guitar player. He's fine. He's a fine fella. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bottle Rocket, same way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But I mean, the good thing is those guys made it anyway, so that's good.
That's right. Amen.
You know?
Yeah, and those guys are just like we are down here.
Yeah,
that's the same kind of person,
it is.
Same kind of work ethic, same kind of just humbleness and goodness and regularness to them. You know, they just happen to get put on a platform that puts them in front of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, I used to up some shows for an act that has been pretty famous, and it as a duo that was a trio, but one of the members was rather large, and she lost out once they got to Nashville. And
isn't that funny how that works?
You know, the other two went on to huge success. She just dropped off the face of the world.
And that's what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with music
anymore. It's got nothing. She was the best singer of the bunch. You know.
I know, and it's sad because that's the machine.
Sure.
You know.
It is. I mean, you know, it's sad, but that is.
Yep.
You know, and more so today, it's more about marketing and you know how good you look. So
how marketable are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of, man, you know.
I even remember back in the day when, hey, yeah, man, we want you, but we're going to get you dental work done.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like a whole makeover. It's like,
yeah.
Do I really want to do this?
At that point, you're how far do you want to get in bed with that thing?
Exactly. And sometimes you have to because you're there where you have to. I'm not really knocking those people for doing it.
I mean, you can compromise, but without selling your soul.
Sure, you can. You can. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got some songs that if somebody that I don't get along with personally with their politics or something wants to use my song, we can work something out.
Absolutely right. That's a fact.
So what you got going on these days?
Well, man, I've got a couple different projects, man. I had the Shane Pruitt band together with me and Bill Flesher and Jim Peterman. Jim Peterman was the original organ player for the Steve Miller Band.
Oh, that's cool.
He lives in Tryon, North Carolina here.
That is
and
really
so
cool.
we had that group. We've had it together 14 years, but then we haven't worked at all this year with COVID. But so in the process of this last year, I've started 2 new projects. I've got a project that is called Hurt and Skip. It's named after Mississippi John Hurt and Skip James.
Skip James, yeah.
And it's we're doing a lot of we're pulling. Well, we're actually doing a lot of original stuff these days. But in the beginning, we were going back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s and pulling that stuff out and bringing it forward. And we've and I'm playing mostly all dobro.
No, that's cool.
And then we added, and so for the last like 3 years in my mind, I knew I just wanted to have this like tribal beat,
right?
Something that has a roll inside of the music. So my buddy Joe Power, who's the singer, and he's a fantastic singer. I mean, that's the reason I'm like, man, you're singing. I don't want to sing no more, you know.
Oh yeah, I do know, yeah.
And so I reached out to a friend of mine that I've known for 20 years, named Jason Phillips. His nickname's Slice. And he's a very, he's a master percussionist. Right. He's fantastic. So we just put out a record about 2 months ago now, it's actual vinyl because people.
Real record,
because it seems to me with all the stuff that's going on right now, the people who are playing the more Americana-ish style music, folk music, if you will, because there's different levels of folk music or different branches of it. They're putting out vinyl.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's cool.
Because like the younger generation, it's become hip now.
It has,
and so the prices of vinyl are going up.
There's a guy from Shelby who works for David Rollins, David Gillian, and what his job is to press the vinyl for them.
Yeah, there's no pressing plants in America,
right? Oh yeah,
and if they do, it's expensive, really expensive.
That's pretty much his job. I mean, and that seems to be what that's a big one for them money wise.
Absolutely,
because they kind of have a monopoly on it, really.
I mean, the only pressing plants we could find in America was the one you're talking about, and there was one I think 1 or 2 in Nashville. We ended up having ours done in Malaysia, of all places, and the turnover time was no time at all.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said, which gives me a little hope for this younger generation.
Well, there's nothing.
They want to hold something in their hand instead of being on a phone.
Plus, it brings back liner notes.
Exactly.
Which is the greatest
Exactly.
thing. That part was totally lost during you had it with the cassette days, but
even CDs a little bit.
CDs a little bit, but with the downloads, the digital music,
that's it.
You lose that, and that's
it's
a beautiful
gone.
part. And you lose the album art.
The album art, exactly.
Album art,
that's what I'm
man.
saying. The kids are coming back to realizing that, hey, man, this is really cool. I can look at this and hold my hand.
And it sounds good.
And the sound is, there's nothing that compares, to me, nothing captures the sound of a band like vinyl.
No, it doesn't. And the new vinyl with the new needles and the new stuff, man, it is incredible.
It sure is.
I mean, that's the way to go, really.
It is.
I mean, it went away, but I'm glad to see it coming back.
It is. I mean, we got 100 pressed, and we've only had them 2 weeks now, and we pretty much got sold out of them already.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I guess you take them to. You got a place that they can get these, or
we took them down in Spartanburg, where I'm from. We put them up for sale at BJ Music down there.
Okay, I wondered if that was something they had to come to the show to get.
No, well, you can come to the show, but I did put them down there, and I think he's already sold out.
That's great.
And so we're doing that project, and then we're actually leaving on Friday to go up to Waynesville, North Carolina, to a mountain cabin, and we're going to start on our second record.
Wow!
And then I've got another project with a guy named Tony Slaughter down there in Spartanburg as well, and it's called From the Holler, and it's like Appalachian swamp music is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic songwriter. So he played me these songs about a year ago, and I told him, I said, and I was in a place where I was freeing up,
right.
and it was wild. I had so many opportunities come to me, and that I was able to move in a whole different direction, which has it's all acoustic based music. I'm not playing hardly any electric anymore.
Really?
That's not
cool.
much at all, especially during COVID.
Oh, and it makes it easier to carry your equipment.
Yeah,
no
amen.
doubt.
Yeah.
No.
And so I've really dove back into the dobro really heavy. I played it off and on for years.
Are you playing it? Are you playing this? Is this Is it fretted dobro?
Yeah, fretted.
dobro?
Yeah, I can. It's the action's still high.
Yeah, well, you gotta play slide on.
Right,
it.
but I can fret it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so we're not talking square neck.
No, not the kind you lay down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really dove back into that thing, man, and it's been nice. I feel like I'm kind of reinventing myself.
That's cool. That's really
right
cool.
in the middle of my age,
I see a picture with you and Artemis Pyle maybe somewhere.
Yeah, we played together up in Clemens, North Carolina on this past Saturday.
Yeah. I thought I did.
Yeah.
You left that part out too, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're not much of a bragger, are you?
No, and I don't. Not at all, man.
You have to brag when you
Well, I
come
mean,
on here.
if you ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
But I'm not one of those guys that just walk into the room like that. Hey, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good characteristic.
Well, I wouldn't be the man that my mother and father raised me to be if I was any other way.
Well, I research that stuff, so the stuff you're not willing to tell, I know that stuff, so I'll get it out of you. I've
been moonlighted. All right, so I moonlighted off and on for 9 years with the Marshall Tucker Band as well.
I was going there next if you wasn't going to.
Well, since you started on that, I'll talk a little bit. I've been really fortunate over the years, just from a little old boy from Spartanburg. I've gotten to play with a lot of legends and a lot of my heroes. I got to open 4 shows for Johnny Winter.
Yeah, I got one of my heroes too.
I mean, he signed my Firebird. I've gotten to do shows with Charlie Daniels. Gotten to play with him. Goodness gracious, I've gotten to play with a lot of people over the years. I've been very blessed and fortunate, and a lot of it was timing, but also a lot of it was I put the work in as a kid.
This is true.
To get myself there.
Yeah, that's true. That's oh God, let's see. I had something else I was going to ask you too, that about. Oh well,
Maybe we'll come back to you in a minute.
yeah, maybe it will. I'm old.
No,
as everybody knows, they already know this. I'm old.
And thank you for doing this today with me. I really do appreciate it.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. It's
Pleasure's all mine.
Drive up here, man. I know it was, and I appreciate
it's a beautiful
you doing
drive.
it.
It's only 40 miles.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day for it too.
Gorgeous.
So,
in the cloudy sky.
It's anybody else you need to make a shout out to?
Oh, let's see here. Say, hey, Mama.
Yeah, we definitely want his mom to hear this. No.
My dad's been dead for 23 years. He died when I was a kid, really. And but my mom, she's been my biggest supporter and my biggest fan my whole career.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a shout out to my little boy Rivers as well.
There you go. Well, that's one of the things too that is one of the common things I'm beginning to find when I interview musicians is parental support in the music business. A lot of people don't get it, and it makes it difficult. When you're going to get a real job, or when you're going to get. I heard that all my life, and I really have respect for families that support their
absolutely
their musicians.
I never once heard any of that from my mom, out of my mom's mouth or my dad's.
That's a wonderful thing.
I was blessed. I really was.
It makes you really believe that you can do that.
Absolutely. And I can remember being a kid and they're playing along with records, and I'd have that amplifier just blaring.
Yeah.
And never once they come in there and knock on the doors, they turn it down.
That's a wonderful thing.
It is.
That really is. That's also how you keep musicians wanting to do it, keep it alive, because you probably don't ask yourself, man, you reckon I should be doing this? Because you've always been allowed to do it.
Sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have times when you go like, man, why am I doing this? But then you got a good gig comes along. You say, that's why I'm doing this.
Well, every job, no matter how good it is, has some stuff about it that
absolutely
stinks.
Yeah.
And music has more than its fair share.
Absolutely.
You have to be resilient.
You do. You got to be a chameleon too. You got to learn how to adapt to your surroundings.
Exactly. And that's the ones that survive. You got to adapt to what's going on and the people that are around you that you can play with. So.
And you got to have a good support system around you fully.
You do.
From home life to road life, to people you can just get along with off the stage or on the stage, at home, because there is nothing worse than getting in a van full of a bunch of guys and you can't stand each other.
And there's more of that than what people realize in the business. I mean,
absolutely.
The nice guys don't come around all that much.
They don't.
A lot of ego.
That's what I'm saying. You're having to juggle a bunch of egos.
Yeah. And it's
And there again, there's in my opinion, from all the years of doing it, the ones who act like that are overcompensating anyway.
Yeah, they are.
Truthfully.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like sometimes I see these TV shows where everybody's competing against each other. Music don't have to be a competition.
No,
it can be a healthy. Yeah, man, I want to
pushing
do
each other in a healthy way, right?
I'm playing with these guys, and we got to step it up, man, because they're good.
That's right. Absolutely.
But I don't believe that. I don't believe it should be a competition, because one of the things I've learned is no matter how bad a musician you are or the music you make, somewhere there's somebody going, that's the best stuff I ever heard.
It's true. It's the truth. And there's no at the end of that stuff, there's nobody keeping score. There's nobody like, oh, he's the winner.
Oh yeah. I mean, and what if you are the winner? What if you won?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That and $3 to buy you a cup of coffee at the QT station.
Yeah. As a kid doing battles of the bands and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It creates unhealthy stuff.
It does, and it never, even when you won, never turned out to be anything.
No, you might get a trophy.
You might,
and you pass it around with each other. It's my turn.
And then a week later, the band will break up.
I know, right? That's a fact.
So it's one of those things that it's all good. That's basically how music should be.
Yeah, it should be. Just like we were talking earlier, man. I said it earlier. Dwayne Allman said it the best. You can't hurt anybody with music. You can hurt people with words, but music is all good. It may not be
all good.
It may not be your cup of tea, but it ain't gonna hurt you.
No, and it may not be particularly good, but it's still not hurting.
It's not gonna hurt you. Yeah,
because somebody's out there giving the effort.
That's right. As long as they're trying.
As long as they're trying.
That's it.
So wow. Man, I tell you what, I do appreciate you coming down here and doing this.
Thank you very much, man. It's a pleasure.
I know you're easy to work with as a musician because you're awfully easy to talk with.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.